I'm 77 years old, and it's strange how quiet life becomes when there's no one left to explain yourself to. The house is still. Not peaceful, just still. And in that stillness, the truth has a way of finally speaking. For most of my life, I thought I was doing the right thing. I truly did. I believed responsibility was the purest form of love. Showing up, providing, carrying the weight so others wouldn't have to. I wore that belief like armor, heavy but necessary. Or so I told myself. I'm Margaret Hale. I've been a wife, a mother, a worker, a woman who rarely sat down without feeling guilty for it. Even now at my age, I sometimes catch myself standing when there's no reason to, as if rest still needs to be earned, when your old time doesn't stretch forward anymore. It gathers behind you. Days don't feel like opportunities. They feel like echoes. And the loudest ones are not the mistakes I made, but the moments I thought I could postpone. I used to believe love was proven through endurance, through sacrifice, through doing what needed to be done, even when it hurt. Especially when it hurt. I thought presence was optional as long as the bills were paid and the house stayed upright. That belief didn't come from nowhere. I grew up watching women like my mother move through life quietly, efficiently. She rarely complained. She never lingered. Love in our home looked like packed lunches and folded laundry. It didn't look like sitting down and talking about feelings. We didn't do that. So when I was young in my 20s, I followed the same rhythm without questioning it. I married a good man, not perfect, but steady. We built a life that made sense on paper. Jobs, a mortgage, children, schedules, everything in its place. I worked full time and then came home to work some more. I told myself it was temporary, just until things were more secure, just until the kids were older, just until the next raise, the next promotion, the next calm season. There was always a reason to wait. I remember evenings when my children wanted me to sit with them. Nothing important, just to be there. I would say in a minute while finishing something that felt urgent at the time. Emails, dishes, planning for tomorrow. That minute often never came. I didn't think I was choosing wrong. I thought I was choosing later. My husband used to ask how my day was. I would answer quickly, already thinking about the next task. Over time, he stopped asking. Not out of anger, out of habit. Silence can grow very naturally between two people who are both tired. There were conversations we kept meaning to have about how distant we were becoming, about how lonely it felt to share a life without really sharing a presence. We always said we'd talk when things slowed down. They never did. Looking back now, I don't see a villain. I don't see neglect done out of cruelty. I see a woman who confused usefulness with love, who believed that being needed was the same as being known. Loss didn't arrive all at once. It seeped in quietly. Missed school events because of work. Short answers instead of real listening. Nights spent planning instead of connecting. Small things. Harmless things. That's how it felt then. At 77, you understand something younger versions of yourself can't quite grasp. Life isn't taken from you in dramatic moments. It's given away in small, reasonable decisions that feel responsible at the time. I didn't realize what it was costing me. Not yet. Not for a long time. By the time I noticed the distance, it already felt normal. That's the frightening part. You don't wake up one day and say, I'm losing my family. You wake up and say, this is just how things are now. My children grew older. They stopped asking me to sit with them. They learned quietly that I was always busy, not unkind, not absent, just occupied. There's a difference, but it doesn't soften the result. I told myself they understood. I told myself they would appreciate it later. I was building something for them. Security, stability, a future that wouldn't scare them the way uncertainty had scared me. What I didn't understand was that children don't feel loved by outcomes. They feel loved by attention, by being seen in the moment they're standing in front of you. My marriage followed a similar path. No explosions, no dramatic betrayals, just erosion. We functioned well together. We paid bills. We made decisions. We rarely argued. We also rarely touched. At night, we lay on opposite sides of the bed, exhausted in different ways. I would fall asleep thinking about tomorrow. He would lie awake a little longer. I didn't notice how often he turned toward me before turning away again. I thought peace meant everything was fine. Years passed like that. Decades, really. And because nothing broke all at once, I assumed nothing was broken at all. Then came the things you can't schedule around. My husband got sick in his late 60s. Not suddenly, slowly. A diagnosis that arrived with careful words and cautious optimism. We adjusted our routines. I became even more responsible, more efficient. I managed appointments, medications, paperwork. I was very good at taking care of him. But care is not the same as closeness. I see that now. One afternoon, while waiting in a hospital hallway, he said something so quiet I almost missed it. He said, I wish we had talked more when we were younger. I nodded. I said, we'll have time now. That sentence still echoes in me. He died 2 years later. After the funeral, after the casseroles stopped coming, after the house emptied again, I was left with something I didn't expect. Not just grief, but a sharp awareness of all the moments I had postponed and could never return to. Responsibility had kept me busy. Love had required me to be present. I chose the first because it felt safer, clearer, measurable. Presence is harder to justify when you're afraid of wasting time. I see now how often I hid behind necessity, how often I told myself someone needed me to do something when what they really needed was for me to sit down and stay. My children are grown now. They love me. I know that. But they don't come to me with the small things. They call when something needs to be decided, when advice is required. I train them well. Sometimes I wonder who they would have been with a mother who listened more than she planned. Aging has a way of stripping away your defenses. You don't have the energy to keep lying to yourself. You don't need to protect an image anymore. Most of the people who knew you at your busiest are gone. What remains is the truth you avoided because it felt inconvenient. I don't blame my younger self. She was scared. She believed the world demanded constant effort. She thought love would wait. But love doesn't wait. It fades quietly when you keep asking it to understand your absence. I used to think I would be remembered for how much I carried, for how dependable I was. Now I realize people remember how you made them feel when you were in the room, and I was often somewhere else, even when I was standing right there. I don't say this to punish myself. There's no use in that now. I say it because this is what remains when life slows down enough to finally look at itself. If there's one thing I wish I had understood sooner, it's this. Responsibility can build a life, but it cannot replace love. And confusing the two cost me more than I knew at the time.